Today, I open my heart to these loving expressions as soothing balm for distress or grief. When I am concerned about another, love centers me in the truth that all is in divine order, no matter how circumstances appear. I enfold the people I care about in a sphere of love, encircling them in peace and protection. When I am troubled, I find comfort in others' loving words. I surround myself with those who offer solace in my need, in my time of need. I find encouragement in their kindness and compassion. As we share of ourselves in kind and loving ways, we hearten spirits and bolster faith, giving comfort to ourselves and others. And from Thessalonians 2:17, comfort your hearts and strengthen them in every good work and word. And again, repeating the affirmation for today, I find comfort in expressions of love. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. The Unity Movement started in 1889 with answered prayer, a healing of a fatal illness. We honor to pray with you. Place a request in our lobby prayer chest at the front of in the credenza right outside there, or you can email us. Please join us in our congregational song, Let Me Be There. You may follow along with the hymn of the lyrics on the screen, and the music team will help us with the melody. Following that, we will prepare for a period of meditation with the song, God Chant.
If you'd like to stand up, you're welcome. This is a pretty rockin' song.
Wherever you go, wherever you may wander in your life, surely you know I always want to be there, holding your hand and standing by to catch you when you fall, seeing you through in everything you do. Let me be there in your morning, let me be there in your night. Let me change whatever's wrong and make it right. Let me take you through that wonderland that only we can share. All I ask you is let me be there. Watching you grow and going through the changes in your life, that's how I know I always want to be there. Whenever you feel you need a friend to lean on, here I am. Whenever you call, you know I'll be there. Let me be there in your morning, let me be there in your night. Let me change whatever's wrong and make it right. Let me take you through that wonder God, how I love thee, how I love thee, how I love thee. Oh my God, how I love thee, how I love thee, my God. God, 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 how I love thee, how I love thee, how I love thee. God, 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 how I love thee, how I love thee, my God.
If you haven't already, just close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath and relax. Be still. Go within. Feel your feet flat on the floor and your energy grounded as if you were growing roots. Feel your back against the chair. Feel the small finger on your left hand. Is it feeling cool or warm right now? Each of us has a physical body, but we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So allow any separation between ourselves and God to just melt away. And take a nice deep breath with a 4 count in and a 4 count out. So let's start. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All anxiety, all tension just draining out our fingertips and our toes. We are open and receptive to God's living Spirit of truth. The divine guidance that is always there and is available to us. So we open our minds and ask for clarity and understanding of the guidance that is right and perfect for each of us to express. And in any unity prayer time, we take a moment to pray for others. So let's bring to mind any individuals, any groups, any situations you'd like to pray for now. We include all of the prayer requests written and placed in our prayer box outside the door on the credenza. And those who have been emailing us or using the prayer request form on our website. And we see and know that the divine substance, the divine potential, and the divine perfection is in and expressing through each of these prayer requests as wholeness, as their highest good, today and every day hereafter. Now let's take a moment to pray for unity of the Hill Country. Let us see this amazing spiritual community thriving in consciousness, people, and revenues today and every day hereafter. The God presence as unity of the hill country is a divine magnet attracting anyone who can benefit from who we are and what we are about, attracting health, prosperity, love, and joy. The unity of the hill country and all who are guided here today and every day hereafter. I now invite you to take the words I'm about to speak as your own prayer words within this meditation this morning. I believe in the divine idea of healing. I open my mortal mind to that divine mind, and I am willing to express the divine idea. In the Gospels, Jesus tells us that we have the authority to forgive sins and to heal the sick. I immerse myself in God's healing energy. The healing presence is within all of us. Makes us whole, makes us well now. We are filled with health, strength, and vitality. Every cell in our bodies is cleansed in the pure stream of God's presence. Every thought cleansed and redeemed. The eternal loving wholeness of God is the only truth, and we are immersed in it. And as I prepare for 2 minutes of silence, I embrace and express the divine idea of perfect health in the silence. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am grateful in all circumstances. God's will of health and peace is now established in me. God within me is mighty to adjust all when I place it all in divine order. And as we move through this coming week, I keep in mind this week's takeaways. That anyone can pray effectively. Anyone can see the divine within others. Anyone can see the divine within themselves. I visualize the wholeness taking form. And when I'm done, I release the prayer and know that perfect results are unfolding. The peace that passes all understanding is now mine. I release any concerns to God and see harmony and peace established. I let go and let God. For my ever-growing awareness of the omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence of God, I open my heart chakra and pour forth gratitude. I pray these things in the name and the nature and the power that was symbolized by Jesus Christ. And as we now draw our focus back to the sanctuary, we ponder the words of our co-founder Charles Fillmore and his written invocation. We are now in the presence of pure being and immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. We acknowledge thy presence and thy power, O blessed Spirit. And by divine wisdom now erase our mortal limitations, and from thy pure substance of love, bring into manifestation our world according to thy perfect law. Amen. Let's sing the Alleluia chants together. Okay, time for our virtual hug. Good morning. Back about 30 years ago, the University of San Francisco Hospital had structured a scientific medical study on whether or not prayer works. And after doing a little research, they approached Unity and our Silent Unity prayer room and arranged with them to do the praying. It was a double-blind study, so at the University of San Francisco, they would have heart patients. They would be assigned a number, and the number would be given to Unity. So the person only knew that they were praying for the essence of what that number was, and then on the other side of it, the people in the heart program there at Unity, at the University of San Francisco Hospital, did not know that they were being prayed for. And like any sort of a study, okay, you had about half of them that were getting prayed for and the other half not. And lo and behold, with a scientific margin of certainty, they found that the prayer worked. The people who were being prayed for healed more quickly. they had better outcomes overall than the people who weren't being prayed for. And this was astounding because it was the first study in which they were able to find a significant response, a significant outcome to prayer. As we mentioned, often this whole movement was started by Myrtle Fillmore. She was told she had 6 months to live with her tuberculosis back in the 1880s. She heard a guest speaker come through town and talk about mind over matter and prayer and meditating and focusing on energy centers, chakras, organs, and all of that. And she decided to, over the next 2 years, every day, take some time, and sure enough, 2 years, no sign of tuberculosis in her body. And the way things got started back there in 1889 is, people who knew what Myrtle did wanted to come and spend some time with her. So they'd have a big prayer circle in their living room. And eventually that grew into what's now known as Silent Unity. Now, I often say that Silent Unity's prayer room is a 24/7 prayer room. It is a 24/7 prayer room, but now the phone calls coming out of the pandemic and staffing issues, you can call until 1 a.m. and then you won't be able to get through for 4 hours until 5 a.m. But there is consistently somebody, and I was just going to show you a little bit for those of you who don't know about Unity's headquarters. We're there just outside of Kansas City. This is kind of the campus here. And the Silent Unity prayer room does have this small chapel in which somebody is, at least one person sitting in there all the time praying. It's like, I don't need to know the specifics, I'm just putting out the good energy sort of thing. And we would take 30-minute shifts. I know when Carla and I were in the seminary there, we worked part-time over here, and some point during your 8-hour shift, you're supposed to be in there for 30 minutes. Around this round chapel are the prayer requests for the last 30 days. And when we do take prayer requests, we forward them on to Silent Unity as well. And so, there's this tradition that they had of the light that always shines for you. And so the cupola was built on the new building there in 1989. But and you can call 800-NOW-PRAY, or you can get online to silentunity.org, and then there's the You Pray app. Now, as you can imagine, coming out of the study with the University of San Francisco, and I remember reading one of the articles that was written about it, and the dean at the seminary, commenting on it. It's like, well, what is it that you guys do? Why are you special? What do Silent Unity workers have that others don't? And the most obvious answer is nothing. Anyone can pray. We teach a prayer technique which we find works quite well, but it's not to say that other people's way of prayer isn't right. It's just we find this works for us. So whatever they have, everybody has. Anybody can do it. Most of us desire to help others with this power, and we can also pray for ourselves. So how do I know that we have this power? Well, turn to these 4 Gospels in the Bible. And Jesus, in the Gospel of Matthew, 9th chapter, 2nd verse, says, "And just then some people were carrying a paralyzed man on a cot. When Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralytic, 'Take heart, son, your sins are forgiven.' But so that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins," he then said to the paralytic, "Stand up, take your cot, go home." And he stood up and went home. And when the crowd saw it, they were filled with awe, and they glorified God who had given such authority to human beings. In the Gospels, especially in Matthew, they talk about the Son of God and the Son of Man. And here again, it's the spiritual being having the human experience. So the Son of Man is our human experience. And we do have the power to do that healing. Now, the word sin, as translated through these various languages, meant it was like an archery term. Sin was, okay, we're doing target practice, let the arrow fly, and they signal you that not only have you missed the bullseye, you missed the target completely. But there's an implication there that I didn't hear when I was a young Catholic boy in Catholic grammar school, and that is, okay, try again. Do it better. You've learned your lesson. So we have this divine idea that I talk about often, this divine mind, and then we have our human mind. And it's up to us to decide how often we want to allow there to be clear flow of this energy into our lives and through our lives. And what do we need to do when we have a divine idea? We recognize, okay, we've got this divine idea that's come to our mind, or to our intuition. It's like, first, believe that divine ideas exist, then your mind can receive them. And second, just be willing to express them. Follow the guidance as to what is yours to do and let go of the rest. Now, when many people do think of healing, they think of physical healing. We talk about the heart patient. You can have a healing of your mental state, your emotional state. You can have healings basically in any area of your life. But healing is more than just a cure. I know I have a sister. I love her dearly. She is estranged for me right now. And I consistently pray for healing her. But she has been through 3 breast cancer surgeries and had a hysterectomy. Now, growing up with her, what I noticed was that she was just fascinated at the higher occurrence in my dad's side of the family of having cancer. So she would immerse herself in cancer, knowing all about breast cancer, and lo and behold, holding on to that fear about getting cancer, she got cancer. It sounds a little bit cold, but it was like, yeah, there's reason this is off. Fear not. Let it go. Don't get too caught up in what might happen. In other words, are you coming from fear or are you coming from love? And we've all known people who've had the relapse, rather than the true healing that comes through just knowing that, yeah, I am a spiritual being having a human experience. There is no separation between me and God. I'm open to a flow that can heal anything. Now, in the 10th chapter of the Gospel of Luke, Jesus gave specific instructions to his followers, and that was to heal the sick. So let me be clear. It doesn't mean that we individually heal the sick. We are, though, a conduit. We're a delegate. We are allowed, as I said, allow that energy to come through us and then send it out whatever direction we want to send it out. So I'm going to go through some of the various questions here that come up about this thing. And I'm always open to having a conversation or an email or text exchange. So one question that we hear over the time is it proper to pray for someone who hasn't made a prayer request? Sure. The variation on this is, am I imposing my will upon the other? Well, every individual has a freedom of choice. But we can kind of send that good energy, and if they decide to take it and run with it, great. It's their right to choose, and we have to honor that right. The soul of the patient is going to hear it and know otherwise. What if the soul rejects the prayer? Well, some people do reject the blessing that's made available, but there's a reason that in the Gospels we're told how Jesus went to his hometown, Nazareth, and healing people all over the place, but he gets to Nazareth and it isn't working. But it does say the reason it isn't working is because of the unbelief of the people, and you can just picture it. It's like, wait a minute, aren't you that snot-nosed little kid who's the son of the carpenter? Here he was preaching at the synagogue, and basically they kind of ran him out of town afterwards. We'll come back to this in just a minute, but yeah, it is important for us to, like I said, believe that these ideas exist and be willing to express them. If the soul says no, what happens? Well, we haven't failed. We've put the energy out there. And there are times, I know when Carla's, mom was getting very ill at the end there. In about 1995, Carla and I were there in rural Kansas, and she was at an assisted living center, and she had kind of made the decision, okay, I kind of had enough, and I'm having a rather unpleasant experience in this body that is failing me. Could you talk to the staff and find out what are these 22 medications I'm on? And so we did. We talked to the staff, talked to her doctor, and it was like, I just want to go off all of these things. And so she made the decision, yeah, I'm going to go off of all of these things. We had to sign some paperwork releasing the assisted living center from any liability, wonderful society that we live in. But sure enough, she came to a peace. She came to a clarity of mind, and she came to the conclusion that so many people do as they're nearing death is like, hey, who else do I need to contact? Who do I need to heal an issue with? Who do I need to teach, and who do I need to learn from? And once we've checked all those boxes, then we can check out. The energy that's put out there helps raise the human race consciousness. So if we're praying for someone and their soul quietly within them is saying, no, don't need it, that energy actually raises the human race consciousness. So we're becoming better and better and better as a group, even though some people behave perhaps the way we don't prefer them to behave, but it's part of the thing here. So if the soul says, yes, though, it's time to rejoice. We don't take credit for the success, as the credit belongs to the God presence through which we have put the energy. Question, how long do I have to pray for healing? As long as it takes. As long as there are people who are seeking a healing. Here again, Jesus in another Bible passage, Gospel of Matthew, 8th chapter, tells a story about Jesus entered Capernaum, and a centurion came to him, appealing to him, saying, Lord, my servant is lying at home paralyzed in terrible distress. Jesus said to him, I will come and cure him. The centurion answered him, Lord, I am not worthy to have you come under my roof, but only speak the word, and my servant will be healed. Jesus paused a moment, and the centurion said, For I am also a man under authority, with soldiers under me, and I say to one, Go, and he goes, and to another, Come, and he comes. And to my slave I say, Do this, and the slave does it. And don't do that, and the slave doesn't do it. And Jesus was amazed and said to those who followed him, Truly I tell you, in no one in Israel have I found such faith. And to the centurion, Jesus said, Go home. Let it be done for you according to your faith. And the servant was healed in that very hour. A centurion is an officer in the Roman army, about the level of colonel. And so here he states, though, what he was perceiving, that, okay, he's a colonel under the command of something higher than him, but then he has the command of people below him. So it's a great model for, like I say, allowing that energy to just flow through us. Spiritual principle is not necessarily a fixed item. It can take an organic state as well, as we put it out there. It also mentions, of course, according to your faith. Here again, do you have the faith? Is it possible for this to happen? We carry out our orders under authority. We may not know exactly how this is all going to happen, but as I often say, my affirmation is, how is none of my business. I drove here in a car. I don't need to know everything that's happening under the hood or on the chassis, but I know how to start the car and point it in the right direction. However, God cannot steer a parked car. I need to put it in gear and get it moving. What if the patient is unconscious, in a coma, delirious with pain? Well, there's no such thing as total unawareness or total. The soul is there. And then as I've counseled people whose loved one is near death and they are in a coma, I say, talk with them. You know, we hear these stories of people with the near-death experience where they're off in the corner of the room watching everything that happens. So even though the body may not be responding, it's like, yeah, make that healing happen. Like I said before, mom, it's like, okay, what other boxes do I need to check off here? Another question is, what if there's a great distance? In our physical world experience, we have these things that we see, like, say, a radio wave, and it weakens over a period or over a distance. But if I'm praying for someone in Bangkok, Thailand, the prayer is just as powerful on that side of the world as it is here. And some of the quantum physicists will talk to us about, you know, how they work with these molecules that they'll take apart, and, for example, go to Bangkok with one of them and have the other one over here, and they flip it, and this one flips too. It's like, how does it happen? How is none of my business? And then, of course, there is kind of like the reference there in that video of, I need to get my stuff together before I can proceed. My life is such a mess. How can I pray for others? Even with unhealed issues or symptoms, once again, Jesus says, in that synagogue, in Nazareth, he's talking with people, and people are getting on his case. And they said, you know, it says in the Hebrew gospel or the Hebrew scriptures, physician, heal thyself. And it's astonishing how many times I'll hear people say, well, Jesus says, physician, heal thyself. No, what he said was, no doubt you will say to me, physician, heal thyself. But then he goes on to say, doesn't matter. I mean, we all can heal and heal each other. We don't have to be perfect. And I showed you the silent unity prayer room. If there was a guardian angel standing outside the prayer room in the inner chapel saying, as each person approached, okay, have you got all your stuff together? You cannot enter until you are completely clean. It's like, well, boy, the silent unity would go out of business this afternoon. You know, it doesn't matter. I mean, we all, you know, have our challenges. We all have our flaws. When Carl and I were in seminary, you'd take a hospital chaplain internship. And I was lucky enough to be with the one hospital there in Kansas City area that their head chaplain was actually from somebody from Unity. But I digress. So here we are. I'm doing the internship, and part of it is, you know, to be there to stay overnight for on-call. It happened to coincide with what we called our licensing and ordination committee week. And in that week, you had to do oral interviews to see how your progress was going and whether you'd be ordained a minister eventually. So we go into this week and an ice storm hits Kansas City. Quarter-inch ice and everything. The apartment that Carla and I lived in, the apartment building was out of electricity for 8 days. So we got that stressor. Luckily, one of our classmates said, hey, come over and stay with us. We're in a neighborhood with buried electric wires. They still had electricity. But I'm preparing for L&O. And here I'm on call. And what I discovered is, it seems like I did my most powerful work as a chaplain under that kind of stress. And Dr. Carl Menninger, you know, he established the Menninger Clinic up there in Topeka, although back about, I think it was 10 years ago, they folded in Baylor University over in Houston. But he was, one of these pioneers in psychology and psychiatry, and he'd tell people, if you feel like you're depressed, if you feel like you don't know what to do, go out and volunteer and help somebody else. Get out of yourself. Get out of your pity party and help others. And what have we learned from the prosperity principles? Whatever energy we put out comes back to us multiplied. So if we're putting out that kind of a good energy, we do that. So as you know, of course, the other question is, how do we pray? And you've seen some of the answers in what I've been talking about here. Okay, when I pray for someone, let's say I've got Joe over here, and Joe has cancer of the liver. Now, when I was a kid, I was taught, well, you need to pray that tumor goes away. Whatever we put our focus on will grow in the experience. So what I want to see is, instead of a liver with cancer being released, what I want to see is just wholeness. The way I put it in a lot of prayers is, see the divine blueprint. You came into this world with perfect health, with the ability to have the cells just heal, regenerate, those sort of things. So that's what I want to see. You know, I want to see Joe is with wholeness, whatever the condition is, whether it be physical, whether it be emotional, whether it be mental. I see that wholeness expressing, and then just release that prayer. So let's take a look at this week's takeaways. And you've got the handout in your bulletin. And you'll notice now in the back of that handout, we've got more of the details of the upcoming announcements so that we can shorten the announcement period. Number one, anyone can pray effectively. Don't be concerned that you need to have special training and all of that, although it doesn't hurt. But yeah, just practice makes perfect. Be willing to see the divine within the other person. And as I said, I think that's one of the reasons we're thrown in together here on this physical planet, is it seems like I have a much easier time seeing the divine in Judy than I do see my divine in myself. And what I find is that, Judy and others see the divine in me, and that brings out the best in me. We bring out the best in each other. See the wholeness taking the form we want to see, and then when done, be willing to release the prayer. So let's go ahead and follow the advice that we found in these Gospels. Let's go out. Do what we're divinely guided to do. Be willing to recognize that, we are authorized to pray, we are authorized to heal, we are authorized to forgive. Our closing story is a video from Steve Hartman of the CBS Evening News.
As a drug treatment court judge in Shakopee, Minnesota, the Honorable Chris Wilton has seen some pretty desperate cases.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Please be seated.
But he says none more desperate than the heroin addict who first appeared before him in the spring of 2014.
Right. Welcome.
Her name is Jennifer Jensen.
You remember when she first came in here?
I do. 8 months pregnant and clearly using drugs. That's as bad as it gets. There's nobody worse than her.
And yet, woeful as she was, a smile still comes to his face at the thought of her. Because today, 24-year-old Jennifer Jensen is clean. 33 months clean, with a healthy son by her side and a wretched past behind. Hooked on heroin by high school, Jennifer posed for more mugshots than yearbook photos. And when she eventually landed in Judge Wilton's courtroom, he somehow saw potential. He took a special interest, stayed on her, made her appear in court more than any other, 27 times total.
At first, it was like, it's annoying. I have to see this guy this much all the time. Like, I don't want to see this judge all the time.
But in hindsight, Jennifer says he saved her life.
Yeah, I would not be here at all, probably.
That's saying a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer's mom, Carrie Martin, says she can't thank that judge enough.
Every time I see him, I'm like, you saved my daughter's life. And he's like, no, I was just the judge. I'm like, no, she looks at you like a father.
And that's why, after her final appearance, Jennifer approached the bench with a very special plea.
She walked up and asked me if I would perform her marriage. And I was there.
There are no quick fixes to America's heroin epidemic. But if there is a lesson in this happy ending, it's that the solution is rooted in tough love and good judges who know when it's time to go heavier on the tough.
You're on thin ice.
And when it's time to go all in with the love. Steve Hartman on the road in Shakopee, Minnesota.
Closing Bible verse, Gospel of Matthew, 8th chapter, 10th verse. When Jesus heard the centurion, he was amazed and said to those who followed him, "Truly I tell you, in no one in Israel have I found such faith." And to the centurion, Jesus said, "Go home. Let it be done for you according to your faith." And the servant was healed in that hour. And may you always be open to God's guidance and grace. Okay.
I'd like to thank Paul Tennyson for being here today. Check. There we go. Paul Tennyson.
Thank you. Here's a tune called Sleeping Beauty. Little Prince Charming wouldn't play. Picked up all his toys and walked away. No happy ending, final kiss. Bet you never thought that you'd end up like this. When you awaken, disbelief, then someone sweeps you off your feet. You can walk a million miles, fake a million smiles in the line of duty. You don't have to make believe, 'cause everyone can see you're a sleeping beauty. Yeah. Beautiful dreamer, awake. You've been dancing round your dreams at Heaven's Gate. All the right steps, all the right moves, what you want and what you've got to prove. And all your demons in the dark will scatter when you wake your heart. You can walk a million miles, fake a million smiles in the line of duty. You don't have to make believe, 'cause everyone can see you're a sleeping beauty. No sugar daddies, no Calvary ride. No tossing and turning till love's in your side. Yeah. Disbelieve, then someone sweeps you off your feet. You can walk a million miles, fake a million smiles in the line of duty. have to make believe, 'cause everyone can see you're a sleeping beauty. Thank you. Thank you for letting me play for you today. All of you. I appreciate it. It was fun. And it was good. This was good.
I'm thanking them for being, and it's just beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Come again, anytime. Oh, if this is your first time at Unity, we are glad you are here. We hope that you are finding a place of like-minded people and a place to belong. We teach spiritual tools that can help you no matter what is going on in your life. Generosity is important to us, and we donate $5 to a local charity of your choice. Just write your email on the card in our welcome packet and leave it in our office. We don't want to put you on the spot, but raise your hand if you would like to have a welcome packet. Is there anybody here for the first time? Our singer, yes, of course. We'll have a welcome packet for you. We now have the opportunity to support our spiritual cooperative. And if you would like to donate by credit card, go to our website, unityhillcountry.org, and click on the donate button. And please set up the automatic weekly or monthly contribution. If you would prefer to mail us a check, please mail it to Unity of the Hill Country, 1016 Jefferson Street in Kerrville, Texas, 78028. We thank you in advance for your generosity. Would the ushers please come forward? Together, let us say our offertory blessing. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I send it forth with my blessings and my love. Freely, freely I give. Divine love through me blesses all that I am, all that I give and receive. Freely, freely I have received. Freely, freely I give. We open our heart in gratitude for these freely given donations. We send these gifts forward through our congregation and into our world, blessing all that it affects. And so it is. We have a few brief announcements. Please refer to the schedule of events on the back of your takeaway handout. Serenity Al-Anon meets at noon on Mondays, and if you have a friend or loved one suffering from addiction and you need support, please visit Al-Anon. Naked Now book study meets tomorrow, March the 20th, at 2 p.m. The Course in Miracles meets on Wednesdays at 4. Codependence Anonymous meet weekly on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Please visit coda.org for more information. The Center of Calm Meditation Group meets at 10:30 every Thursday. And we also have meditation suggested for people at home at 10 o'clock to stop and have meditation, and that seems, and it just seems to stretch, I want to say stretch or reach out all over. So we invite you to join the 10 o'clock at your home for meditation. If you're on Facebook, our new group, Unity Spiritual Network, to stay connected with our community online. We are 2 weeks away from the spring cleaning yard sale setup, which will be on Friday to set this up, and that's March the 31st, and the sale will be from 8 to 4 on Saturday the 1st. We'll be assigning teams for the fundraiser, so please let us know if you would like to be involved, and if you have not yet done so. If you would like to take an opportunity to serve our community, to be a Sunday host, usher, daily word reader, etc., please let us know. Use the sign-up sheet in the lobby. A new volunteer schedule will be made available before the beginning of April. And volunteers are very, very important to us, so please feel free to sign up. And with that, we have come to the end of our gathering. Please join us in the peace song, followed by our prayer of protection. We also have Abundant Sunday, so please stay and enjoy the food with us.